Marvel Mondays, where we're going through the MCU in release order. We're on Black Panther now. Black Panther. IMDb score 7.3, kind of lower than I was expecting when we were looking into this. Rotten Tomatoes 96 critic score, 79 audience score. Budget of 200 million. Box office of 1.35 billion. Did pretty good.
Not too shabby.
Marvel Studios director Ryan Coogler. Release date was February 16th, 2018.
The official the smack dead in the middle of Phase 3.
Phase 3.
Are.
We're coming. This is
coming.
the I guess the big finale of initial Marvel.
Yes. We're coming up to the big finale.
We won't spoil what happened after it because we'll get there when we get to those films. But cast was pretty strong. Chadwick Boseman as making a return as T'Challa, the Black Panther. We had Michael B. Jordan as Jakata, Eric Killmonger Stevens. We had Dana Guri, Lupita Nyong'o, Martin Freeman. We actually had two hobbits, technically a hobbit, I guess, with Gollum, but
technicalities.
But Lord of the Rings actors are also the only white guys,
which is great. I think it's
funny. Which is very random. But yeah, there was a very good cast.
Yeah.
Everyone was great. I feel like I speak for both of us when some of maybe our initial first likes is the cast was really strong. A lot of good chemistry between everyone.
Yeah, and this also put like actors on the map as well, because I think Daniel Kaluuya, he's gotten a lot bigger now too. A couple of these actors have all signed on to like Jordan Peele films.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So like I'd say at least like 2 or 3 of them are in Us or Get Out or Nope, I think is the other one. But let's jump right into the likes.
I was thinking we should talk about the general story.
That's all probably.
So general, very quick overview of the plot is we get how vibranium came to Earth. I kind of liked the really this is the origin of Black Panther. Kind of like in a really quick 2 minutes, really. We got the vibranium came via a meteorite into Wakanda. That's why they have access to all of it, and they're still mining it to this day. Apparently haven't even scratched the surface of how much they truly have, which is crazy. That must have been a really big rock, man. Yeah. And then we just kind of get the story of how the Black Panthers passed along throughout Wakanda. And then we learned that T'Challa's dad actually killed his own brother and left his nephew. Because his brother betrayed him, gave up Wakanda to what's his face? Arm Man.
Circus. Circus, yeah. Ulysses Claw.
Yeah. And then then he doesn't tell anyone. He hides it from like the entire nation as like a big dark secret. And that is in a classic cliche fashion, obviously comes to bite everyone in the butt.
Yep.
And he's dead. He's not there to answer for it anymore. It's his son that has to deal with it. So we basically start off almost not directly after Civil War, but very close.
Yeah, relatively only a couple months maybe.
Yeah, because like we get some flashbacks to the death of T'Challa's father, and then we see them doing a mission.
Yep.
Then we see him come back to Wakanda, and then they're doing the ceremony to
make him king. Yeah.
So obviously not a lot of time has passed. And yeah, we get to just follow him along through his journey. Kind of has that little bit of a cliche of like, are you ready? Are you not ready? Was my dad perfect? Learning he wasn't perfect in a lot of ways.
Classic.
I feel like maybe that's one of the big negatives is it does have a lot of cliches, which doesn't make it a bad film. It's just I'm starting to really get the sense that we're running out of material for the superhero films.
I think this film specifically played it safe. Not in a bad way, but it did feel like the plot was pretty recycled. Like we've seen this plot before with Iron Man.
And it's not the first MCU
Iron
film
Man
to do
2.
it either.
It's
because I don't want to like center it out, but it's starting to get very repetitive at this point. And we've taken breaks from watching these. Like obviously we're coming out every week, but we have taken some breaks because we have recorded some in advance.
Yeah.
And even coming back after like little breaks, it's like it's just starting to build now. It's really starting to compile. Like, oh, that movie was recycled from this movie, this, et cetera, et cetera. It's just starting to become really noticeable, which makes me excited, at least for the next film being an Avengers film, going to be at least somewhat different.
Yeah.
But yeah, then Michael B. Jordan's character, Killmonger, ends up showing up and has a right to the throne to fight for the throne, as is tradition. As is tradition in Wakanda. And yeah, he ends up winning Asterix.
Yeah. Technicalities.
Winning Asterix throws him off. And he takes over and he's like, we're bringing war to everyone. We're basically that he, in his view, he wants Wakanda to just take over.
Yeah.
And obviously, Black Panther's the hero. We can't let that happen. Got to be the good guy, save the day, and that's what happens. And then yeah, that's Black Panther.
Yeah. That's in a very
basic, simple
form. I will say I was looking at this cast list and we missed two bigger actors that are also in this one. One being Forrest Whitaker.
Oh, yes.
Plays one of the elders in Wakanda. And then also Sterling K. Brown, who plays King T'Challa's brother who dies at the beginning.
Yes. He was great for his little...
I totally forgot he was in that film. When I was watching, I was like, what? I don't remember him being at all. But it makes sense because he died.
He died early. He has like what? He has the initial intro scene, and then you have like the scene when Killmonger is going to the afterlife and sees his dad for that brief moment, but that's pretty well it.
Yep.
So yeah, likes. The Wakanda kind of lives up to the hype of the little bit of foreshadowing of we get and little Easter eggs of its a name drop, right, in earlier films. The city is fantastic, looks amazing. Technology's cool.
Yep.
Costume designs were definitely on point. A lot of attention to detail, a lot of research, I'm sure, went into making sure that they didn't overstep any bounds or insult any African cultures. It felt like they tried their best to get in a lot of different tribes and a lot of different cultures involved within the film, which shows like just how impactful the made up nation of Africa is, which I thought was good. Music was really good.
Yep.
And then I wrote down this is I don't know if it's a Matt dislike, but very strong standalone film. And it feels like we haven't gotten a true good standalone film for a bit in terms of the MCU. Thor Ragnarok, you could argue maybe stands alone by itself, but if you just walked into it as a know nothing about Thor, you're a little bit like...
To be fair, Thor Ragnarok is Thor 3, though.
But that's what I mean.
Yeah, I would say... I don't know, Doctor Strange might be pushing it, too. Because obviously the Infinity Stone from Doctor Strange. But that's not a focus of the film.
No, it's its own film.
I would say Doctor Strange is a solid solo film.
It's okay. Maybe I think it pushed a lot of effects in a cool way.
Yeah,
but I don't think the Doctor Strange story overall
it's not like a 10 out of 10 film.
I just think that it might be up there with Guardians for just like an enjoyable. I don't actually need to know anything.
You don't need to know the history of the
MCU.
Yeah,
okay, we get introduced him in Civil War, but you don't really we see the death of his dad. We don't need any of Civil War.
Yeah, exactly.
So I feel like it's just a very strong standalone film. And it does still have important elements to it that lead into the future MCU, unlike something like Guardians 2. In Matt's case, since he's a hater of Guardians 2. But yeah, I think it was a really enjoyable film just by itself.
I would agree. I think the only things that I have to mention is production design overall kind of goes hand in hand with costume design, but like the way they built Wakanda really immersed you into that world. And then casting as well. I think Chadwick does a great job as Black Panther. Michael B. Jordan as Killmonger, another great cast. Even like my personal favorite character of this movie is M'Baku.
Yeah, he's great.
It's just like he just fits that like kind of comedic relief character in a way.
Yeah, but he's also serious.
Yeah, he's just a fun character,
and he has that like imposing presence. Like he's big.
Yeah, like he does not care what anyone else does.
Yeah. It was I think sums up really good at the beginning is when they enter Wakanda and you have T'Challa say, "This never gets old" when you first see it.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of the feeling. You're like, this is cool.
Yeah.
A lot of the tech is cool. Actually, one of my favorite scenes in the film is when we go and meet his sister Shuri, and it's almost like a James Bond scene where James Bond comes to Q and Q's like, I got all these gadgets for your next mission. That's what it was kind of had that feel to it where she's like, oh, I'm going to give you this. These are updated. And he's like, oh, they were perfect. And she's like, just because something's perfect doesn't mean it can't be improved on.
Yeah.
And she gives him the sneakers and drops the sneaker joke.
What are those?
Yep. She has the Vine reference. She has I made these slippers and I call them sneakers. And you're like, okay, I got
it. They're sneaky.
Funny. It just shows off both the chemistry that the two actors have, but also the relationship between brother and sister. And then just what kind of technology we're really working with. Obviously, we're seeing flying aircrafts, some sort of, camouflage technology. But we've seen that with S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, this is slightly different. Like, it's just more advanced, right? Which goes to show you how advanced the Wakanda culture, civilization, etc. is.
Yep.
But we can move into a little bit of our dislikes. We kind of already talked about this, but like the plot kind of felt a little bit cliche because we've seen it before.
It had death to resurrection.
Yeah.
Had,
someone who thinks he can do the main character's powers better.
Had what else? We had someone saying, "I'm not going to help you. You're on your own."
Yeah.
Then coming back and helping.
Yeah, it's just.
There was like we said, the dad not being kind of perfect and having his own issues. There were a lot of things you've seen before, but it was done well.
It definitely helped create the character of Black Panther. My other big dislike is really just the final fight. I think just could have been better.
I think the final fight overall, the scene was good. I think maybe, like for me, I just felt like the conclusion happened a lot quicker than expected.
Yeah, maybe that's what
But I didn't think like the choreography was all that bad. Like I really enjoyed them fighting when they're falling down. Looked cool.
But it's just the weird like train back and forth, like kind of. I know it broke up the fight.
Well, and it also gave some time for talking, but
it
also
kind of took me out of the fight a little bit, in my opinion.
Maybe that's kind of fitting because it was taking the vibranium out of the fight.
It's true.
Parallels there. My one dislike that kind of leads into the final scene is and I've complained about this in Thor as well, and I don't know if I complained about it in Spider-Man as much, but some of the CGI was a bit It just feels like that's becoming more and more common as we've gone through phase 3. I don't know if they're saving their money for the big Avengers films or what, but like big one that pops up to me is the Panthers in the tree. Yeah. They looked so fake. They didn't even look remotely real.
Yeah.
The final fight when they are falling, it almost looks more like a video game cutscene than it does a live action film.
Yeah, that's totally fair too.
There were a couple elements of that where you're like, am I watching a live action film or am I watching an animated thing? And I just feel like, when you're using CGI and it's a live action, you want to be tricked into thinking it's real.
Exactly.
And obviously that's very nitpicky because when you watch it in a movie theater for the first time, I doubt a lot of people are noticing that because you're paying attention to so many other things. But this isn't my first, second, third time watching Black Panther. That's the thing is that
for us, like we're rewatching these and we're able to fully dissect. Because I can remember like going to the movies and seeing even Doctor Strange. We kind of briefly talked about it. I was like, this is crazy. I rewatch it 10 years later and I'm like, yeah.
There's some things that stand out.
Yeah.
But then we watch Iron Man 1 and it like held up.
Yeah, it's just, it's tough, right? Because I don't know.
There's almost like, and in Hollywood currently, there is a lot of talk of like, has CGI just gotten worse?
Yeah.
Through the years, and we're past those good years.
Practical effects is where it's at, people.
Well, and I think Iron Man 1 obviously had a lot more practical effects with the suit as well. We're definitely going to get into it because as of recording this, we have already watched Infinity War, so we won't give our things on, but there may be a mention of this exact thing again.
I'm not surprised.
But yeah, it just feels like every movie, there's more and more little things that are starting to stand out to me. Not saying the whole CGI is bad. Like it feels almost like when we're talking about an anime.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, they must have been saving budget there because they didn't want to make those Panthers look as real as possible because they need to put that budget somewhere else. Which I understand. But man, it's just starting to like noticing it more and more is hurting me. But other than that, like, though I feel like those are both pretty nitpicky things. They're not exactly, because yes, it's cliche, but it's superheroes.
The story was still good. I still enjoy the characters. I still enjoyed the overarching story.
The important part is the characters, right? Because so many of the superhero stories are the same.
Yeah.
And it's just, who are the characters? Who are the supporting cast? Do they make it? Do they tell their story in the same way, but in their own way, like a unique style to that character? And I think Black Panther did a good job for that.
I would agree.
As for, I mentioned my favorite moment. What was your favorite moment, Matt?
The M'Baku fight against T'Challa.
Okay.
I think it's really cool of a story and like the history of the Black Panther to show like, this is kind of my likes, but it's also my favorite moment, is like when he's about to fight, he gets the power of the Black Panther taken away.
Yeah,
and he's just a normal
like a fair
dude.
match. Yeah,
exactly. And then the fight against M'Baku, and just like we kind of discussed, like his presence on screen like controls the scene, because he's just there to fight. He doesn't care about anyone else. He cares about his group, but then he also doesn't.
But he cares about Wakanda as well.
Exactly, which I think M'Baku is such a complex character as well, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah, because at first you kind of think he's just like the muscle head.
Yeah. But then you're like, oh, he actually genuinely cares about his people and Wakanda. And you're like, oh, okay.
I think a really good scene with him is also when they're in the mountains and he's like, you're the first king to visit in like however long. And you're like, oh, damn. Like, he ain't stupid.
Yeah. You're like, oh, he actually is. Yeah.
Anyways. Importance of the MCU. I feel like it's safe to say just the introduction of Wakanda, seeing the technology they have, the people, the warriors, the different clans of how they may play out in the future.
Yeah.
And then obviously we get to see Bucky being of sane mind, the White Wolf.
The White Wolf.
That was also a pretty funny joke when they talk about the other white guy to fix.
Yeah. Of the other characters, I would say like it's also just specifically important to mention that Shuri is introduced fully.
Yep.
Because she's obviously a great importance to the MCU.
Easter eggs. Killmonger's mask.
Yep.
Which is in reference to the comics for Killmonger. That's the more tribal-looking mask we see at the beginning.
Yep.
We have a lot of pop culture references, like big one being, what are those?
Yep.
There's references to Back to the Future. I did start noticing, are we getting a lot more just, not really Disney references, but just jokes to like...
Literally anything.
Like anything.
Yeah.
Just be like, oh, pop culture, something current, and now the films are starting to age, and you're like, aging a little poorly there, but lots of like references to older films. We'll get more into that in Infinity War 2. There were some mentions of stuff. A lot
of random ones.
We have the Claw rocking his iconic hand cannon.
Yep.
Which finally pays off from Age of Ultron.
Yeah, which he gets cut off, and then we just don't see him for like 6 films.
So that was pretty cool. The Waterfall Death is from Panther's Rage, which is a comic book series for Black Panther. It's kind of like the iconic, similar to Batman and Bane. Getting to see that in the third
Dark Knight Rises.
The White Wolf.
Yep. I got one more Easter egg.
Hit me with it.
It's like the most obscure one. It's because Michael B. Jordan is a big anime fan. So his initial costume he does for Killmonger, where he's wearing...
the
Vegeta reference, yeah. Which I think is kind of interesting because obviously Vegeta, Prince, lost hidden race of people. Obviously kind of ties in with Killmonger a little bit there.
In a bit.
It's a very obscure Easter egg, but I thought it was pretty interesting.
I think there was also one for the colors when they enter the casino, I think are like the African, I don't know.
It's like something connection to that, yeah.
Like there was a purpose for the colors. I just didn't do enough research. My bad.
Yeah. Post-credit scenes. Bucky is awake. The White Wolf is ready to return. And Wakanda is planning to join the world.
Yeah, it reveals itself to the United Nations. Lastly, Stanley in cameo is he's in the black market casino, takes King T'Challa's winnings, or says he'll hold on to them for him, which was pretty funny.
Classic Watcher.
But other than that, that was Black Panther. 7.3. I think it was a bit better than 7.3. I think I would give it an 8.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Very solid film. Can be enjoyed. You don't need to even see any of the other MCU films. If you just feel like watching Black Panther, you can easily just watch Black Panther. Someone who's not in the MCU, you can watch Black Panther, which I feel like gives it some bonus points. Great cast. Just overall, pretty fun movie. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week when we take on Avengers Infinity War. Exciting times ahead.
See ya.